So God told me to come out here to Texas, and the woman said that she's going back and that she would not be able to allow me to stay here. And I had my sisters and them contacted me, telling me that they'll help me get my identification. But in the window, the woman said I can come back here when she come back in town. But the time frame of the window and time frame that she's about to be gone, and that I'm finna be out here, my phone bill is due, and they already have police swarming around, and they contacted me on my YouTube channel. Threatening me, saying that Cynthia has a restraining order against me at her home, to where I cannot come to her home to get my son. So I have a family member that's out here, and this is the person that I went to stay with when I first got out of here, and showed them that I was pregnant, and they asked me to leave their home. So I peacefully just left their home when God said that I should have stayed, because that was my family, but they asked me to leave, so I left. And they're still out here, and they know what's going on. And I'm not saying this to put nothing off on my family, but it's leaving me very vulnerable to these racist white people out here, and the racist black people as well, because I'm about to have to go back out here with her saying that she have a restraining order. And that's the whole reason of me coming back to Atlanta, Georgia, is for my son. The whole reason of me going to Atlanta, Georgia for the time frame that I did was to get into a shelter, because they attacked me in my home out here in Texas and caused me to lose my home and left me on the streets. And so that's the last memory that I had of my home and my child. And then they have a restraining order saying that I cannot come to her property about my child for protecting myself. So it's not going to get handled until they tell the truth. It's not going to get handled until you tell the truth that you're leaving a black woman outside, and y'all done attacked me all up in my home with my child, and you have my child. And it ain't about, oh, because I shot a gun protecting myself. Get to the root of what the problem is. And so I'm about to leave this person's room, and she's texting me and everything, because she wanted me to leave without telling this information. And since I'm telling it, I'll go ahead and tell that I was trying to work on evidence, and I don't have anywhere to work on evidence, and I don't have anywhere stable where I can get a job, have documents sent, told y'all about people stealing documents and all sorts of things. So I don't have any stable place. It's all a setup to keep my baby, and she threatened to rape him and molest him, and that's leaving me with no choice but to call CPS out on the streets, and I'm his mother. And Austin has been arrested from Cynthia's home since I shot Austin for attacking me for being violent in her home numerous times, from what I'm seeing on police reports. And they're still trying to set me up, and they done had these black men stealing my identification and debit cards and everything, because they have all of these people worshiping them, and trying to say because I shot a gun that was okay to do that to me. And they're covering up that he was attacking me in my home. And so the locations where I've been at recently with a male and a male in Atlanta, female out here, what they were trying to do, because my channel has had up to like 100,000 views on different channels that I started on YouTube. So people know what's going on. They know that they threatened to molest my baby, and they're being racist and trying to set me up. Because I shot a white man in America in self-defense, and he was attacking me and my son in my home, and that's why I'm outside. So if you cause me to go to another state and I'm outside, you can make me look like I'm just a bum without a job. But if I'm still in Houston outside on the streets behind this shooting and him attacking me in my home, then it's a bigger problem. Now you have to deal with it, and you can't deal with it by trying to get a restraining order and try to still set me up to be murdered for protecting myself. So they were making noise, and anytime I try to make a video about my son or start talking about the evidence to the case, when I started telling about what Cynthia Olvera did with my child documents, they started trying to interrupt. When I started telling what the judge did in the family courtroom to cover up that Austin was abusing me, they started trying to make noise. And because this has a lot to do with them threatening to molest my son, and then going and doing these devious things to get custody of my child. And they just trying to have me around people that could just bring me downhill and discredit me as a mother, and pretend like you help it. And then every few days they saying that, oh, you putting me out on the streets where I'm vulnerable. Don't nobody know what's going on where I'm at. Don't nobody know what everybody's intentions is for me out there outside, with the evidence to my case. And so I don't want to talk all fast because they get in my videos and trying to say that I'm crazy and things like that. And I've been struggling for a long time trying to get the help. So the people that start making noise, they had their kids trying to make noise over what you saying. And then it's like once you realize you're in that kind of environment and somebody is trying to make it seem like they helping you, and then they turn around and say that you gotta leave after they done tried to make noise over you telling evidence about your son. It's like you can't expect me to keep having to go to locations where you expect me not to talk about the evidence about my son and how y'all got my child, and you expect for me to, because you threatened to rape him. So the fact that you threatened to rape my son is priority above me going out and getting a job and proving to you that I got my own house again and proving to you that I got enough money to take care of my son. That has been taking priority every single day, and it's hard for a mother to be able to move on with your life and keep a smile on your face. And then they trying to say that I'm mental patient and bipolar and these things like that when you threaten to rape my son. No, you putting a mother in distress because you have my child and you threatened to rape my little boy while I was in jail for protecting myself from Austin. So I don't have a criminal record at all. So they have been trying to do things to try to set me up to be arrested for things. I don't have a criminal record. So for you saying that you have a restraining order against a woman for protecting herself that doesn't even have a criminal record, and you have my child and your son was attacking me and I protected myself, you're just being racist. You're being absolutely racist. You have my child and you threaten my child, and they have my own people setting me up. They got black people setting me up from place to place. I lived in my home from April 2016 to July 2018, almost 3 years. I lived at 1308 Houston Street. So for these women and men to be trying to set me up from place to place every few days, every couple of weeks, if I stayed somewhere for a couple of months, they had people terrorizing me inside of the home, and I need to be in a location where I can have moments to myself to work on my case and talk about my son. But God is like, you done did all that, and you need to be going to this woman's house, and now she has a restraining order, which is basically trying to leave me vulnerable in Texas for like I'm just out here for no reason. So they continuing to try to set it up like, oh, his mama is just in the streets and she just don't have nowhere to go and she just an unfit mother, and you threatened to rape him and Austin abusing us, and then he got all these charges and he's still getting arrested from your house, and you still enabling him to abuse people, and you still lying about it, and you putting my child life in jeopardy to where Austin could have killed him or hurt him, and then you threaten to hurt my child, and then you sitting over here trying to hide behind a police department that threatened to help you rape my baby, and then trying to say that, oh, she just a bum on the street. How many bums on the street give a damn about their children to make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 videos on 10 YouTube channels about their child? If I was just a bum on the streets, was I a bum on the streets when your son came attacking me in my house? Was I a bum on the streets when he got out of prison and you begged me to call the police department and ask to get charges dropped? Did you beg me to get theft and drug charges dropped for your son when he was getting out for assault? Was I a bum on the streets then? Yeah, you think you big and bad taking my baby and threatening to rape my baby because I don't have money. Because you wasn't talking that stuff when I had my own apartment and you was begging me to allow your son to come in my home. You wasn't calling me no bum then, and you wasn't calling me no whore, and you wasn't calling me no drug addict. But because these people don't let you get my baby because I shot Austin in self-defense, and she was calling the police department asking the police not to help me in my home. So they out here trying to set me up. And I'm about to get my bag and leave because I've been told the girl I was finna leave up out of this location. So I got my bag right here, and I'm finna see what she texts me, and then as I'm walking out the door, I'm gonna film and I'm leaving.